There we go.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay.
Now you're rocking.
Okay. There we go. All right.
Now we hear you.
Thank God. All right. So, in case anyone missed it, I chastised both of these guys for not wearing their costumes. But
he did, and he's right. He was right to do it.
Also, this is news to me as well when it comes to Chi. Until you had said it, I've been saying Ben Key and Key, so I assume it's Ben Chi then as well.
It's been Chi forever. Yes,
it's
always been Chi. It's just like,
this is news to me. I read it. I don't hear it.
Very few things that team didn't do well. They didn't get out the name of the token well enough. You don't.
It's just like Avax. It's Avax now. I know it's supposed to be Avox, but it's Avax. We all say
actually.
It
was Avox, Avax.
Yeah.
There's been an ongoing conversation on this show. Every time we have an Avalabs person in here, we're like, so do you say Avalabs or Avalabs? Is it Avox or Avax? But yeah, the Chi thing that never clicked with me either until JD said it. So we're gonna have to give him a hard time next time he's on the show about the token name, because I always thought the same thing. So, but it's good to get that out of the way. CK, welcome in, man. Glad you got your mic fixed. Glad you have your hot sauce packet costume on. Can you stand up for the folks that are just getting in here?
Yeah.
Too good to not be true.
That's right.
I got so many of those in my fridge right now for taco night.
You
always got to get extra hot sauce packets when you go to Taco Bell so that you can have them for home taco night, man. It's just the way we do things, right? But anyway, guys, Crypto Kindergarten is a long-time chatter, long time in the clobber, man. He's been here for a while. You've been watching. What do you remember? What the first show you watched was when you popped in here?
No clue. I mean, he was definitely one of the first, the earliest episodes.
Yeah,
I know I subscribed like 13 months ago or something like that. So it's at least that long.
Yes. So it's like within the first 10 episodes, I imagine. Do you remember
probably
technical issues? You remember the technical problems we had?
No.
That's how okay, so after episode 3, that we established before episode 10. That's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, we had some growing pains, you know what I mean? And sometimes we still do. It just happens with every kind of show like this. But you'll learn all about it, man, because you've started your content creation journey, and we're just excited to have you on the show. So to start off, we always like to get a bit of background from everybody. So can you give us kind of your entry point into crypto?
Sure.
And how you got involved with everything, and what made you want to educate people on it, kind of.
Yeah, so I would say you could chart the start of my crypto journey back to I don't even know what year it was, probably 2009, 2010. I was a network administrator, and I had someone I was working with say, hey, there's this thing called Bitcoin, and you've managed all these computers. You should set up miners on all of these computers. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm just going to use company resources to start doing this thing. And then he told me a little bit about it, and I said, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And then 8 or 9 years passed.
I know a thing or two about exactly what you just said.
Right. And I think, if I'm being honest, like a lot of people, maybe as time was going on, part of me subconsciously was just hoping, man, I really do hope this is just a stupid Ponzi, because if it blows up any bigger, I'm going to feel even dumber as every year progresses.
I'll even add something on that. Like, running Bitcoin at home, kind of stupid, right? But running SETI, search for extraterrestrial, whatever, I forget the exact name.
Oh, yeah.
Folding at home, I did both of those things as soon as they came out. But I was like, I did these things. I don't really get any value from them. Why would I ever run Bitcoin? I literally had the same thing.
So then, I watched things come up, and I had very little concept as far as what was going on. I thought every coin was just another currency, right? I had no idea, what a smart contract was, probably up until 2019 when it started coming up in the news a little bit more. And, I put some money into it, but I was throwing it at just random things. So it's like, oh, what's Bitcoin Cash? Well, that sounds like it's better than Bitcoin. So I'll put a little there, or Litecoin and Ethereum and all those things, but didn't do any research. I just had a Coinbase account. And then I actually started going into, I think it was honestly one of Coinbase's videos. They had videos on like, hey, this is what this does. And I think it was Bancorp protocol was probably the first protocol where I was like, oh, wait, there's actually something going on here. There's more than just, these are just coins that represent, made up digital money. So once I started reading into that, I just started going into it, because normally I'm a person who really, enjoys technology and really likes to dig into things. And this was just one that I kept putting on the back burner because, again, it might have partially just been I might have missed the boat. I'd feel better just knowing there was no boat at all, right? So, so then I started reading more, and then I came across some marketing materials for Avalanche, talking about 4,500 TPS, and then it was like, well, wait a minute, and at that point I had a basic understanding of what smart contracts were and that kind of thing. So once I saw that, I was like, well, this is something that, potentially competes with Visa, right? That's a concept I can wrap up my mind around. Here's a utility where we can transfer money and we could do it at a fraction of the cost. I know that much. We're talking about pennies at the time, even, fractions of pennies. We can do it in a way that is faster and cheaper, and has a structure where there's no real authority, right? And that's when it just really started clicking. So then I jumped in the Avalanche Discord, and I just started learning as much as I could, and then answering as many questions as I could that other people had, because I've got a background in working for various tech companies in a technical support role. Sure. And I found that's a great way for me to learn something, right? So if someone calls and has a problem, if I don't know the answer, I find out the answer. And so that's what I did in the Discord for probably a good year of just, talking to people, learning more, and then finding things that I didn't know the answer to, and then trying to figure out, well, what is the answer to this, and going through. So I think in some ways I had a lot of advantage coming in at the time that I did, because the 3-chain structure of Avalanche was just as foreign as any other concept, to me at the time. So it wasn't like, hey, what's going on with this? Everyone's doing 1 chain. Why is this 3 chains? It was just, okay, here's the 3-chain structure, and then kind of understanding that. And so that's when I really got in. And then as time progressed, I was like, I want to be a part of this, but I set a goal to get a validator node, within a year, because that was also something that is a good learning experience, right? Just being able to set that up and do all those things. So that's where I got started. And then I would say also just listening to a lot of the talks that Goon did really sold me on it, because it was like, okay, here's a guy who's business minded, talking about things like, how do we take sovereign bonds and make them available to anyone in the world, right? Right. Those are all the things where it just really clicked in my head. This is a revolutionary technology. It's going to revolutionize the way we interact with digital assets, and it's going to help us digitize all assets.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And Goon did a really cool AMA on Reddit the other day too. That was really cool to see. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah, his AMA on Reddit. I checked out a few of them, but have not gotten to all of it yet.
I haven't seen all of it either, but I know it went well. And I love these stories. I love the guys who actually joined that Avalanche Discord early. Yeah. People who are now senior engineers were responsible for supporting that stuff. Like the guy, one of the guys I know is like building the P chain and the database stuff together with the rest of the dev team. But at that time, he was also doing support in Discord. And I remember, like, is this guy going to code, or is he going to like answer this, how do I go into the wallet webpage question? So like, I did a good amount of the support to the best that I can, because, I wanted people to understand how this works and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, for me too, it's just like, I when I saw it, I was like, I want to help, and I can only help with so much, right? But on the lower level parts, I could definitely help somebody, because I've already answered this. I know how this piece of the puzzle works, and bringing people in, helping them do the Ethereum bridge when that rolled out, and then the second Ethereum bridge, all that stuff.
Of course. Fantastic, dude. So, that's a great story as to how you came to be one of the top guys in Avalanche community. And to be clear, you are actually active in more than just Dexalot. First of all, we appreciate you. We appreciate everything you've been doing for us. We love, people who sort of, resonate and understand our vision and sort of support us along the way. But I know for a fact that you support other projects as well. And, I thank you on behalf of the rest of the community as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your background other than crypto, just so we have, a good
So as I mentioned, my background is a lot in network setups. Way back, 20 years, I got into computers, got into networking, and then that landed me a position in a real estate company where I then transitioned into a mortgage broker. So I spent about 15 years as a mortgage broker, as a sales agent, sales manager, working my way up that chain. I did a little brief hiatus into medical robotics for a time. But I'd say moreover, I have a big background in just retail sales of mortgages, the business to client portion of selling mortgages.
Best business for the last, 2009 till 14 years? Until the hikes now.
It's been good. And in the last year, one of the reasons why I'm doing this project is because I have so much time on my hands.
So dope.
Interest rates have gone over double, and 80% of our business was refinances, and there's really no justification for anyone to be refinancing right now. So I find myself with a lot of time on my hands in these times. It's always been an industry of feast and famine, where when the market is good, you work and you don't stop. You do 12, 15-hour days because there's going to be a downturn, and there's going to be a time where there's a lull, and that's when you build, and that's when you make new things. So I'm doing on that side all sorts of fun stuff that I'm learning as well, learning a lot of coding just to update our internal systems and do build while it's light and quiet.
Are you full-time in Web3 now?
No, not at all. No, my full-time job is still in mortgage. I actually played hooky today just to do this interview. Wow, I'll be going in, but yeah.
We appreciate it. Now,
hell yeah, man.
This is extremely interesting to me. The reason being, you are in sort of an industry that we haven't had guests from. I mean, I have my own personal opinions. Yeah, I've dealt with mortgages in the US, and I think so. Mortgages are under collateralized loans, meaning you put in 1, you'll typically get 5 for whatever you put in. But I would love to get your opinion on how Web3 and technologies, smart contracts specifically, would affect the mortgage industry in the near future. And the answer maybe it doesn't affect at all. Yeah. But I look at it from a perspective. Yeah.
In the near future, I don't see much of a change. I think to make it work, you have to have a complete revamp of a lot of different systems because there's all sorts of regulation and laws that come into play when you're talking about mortgage lending, who's allowed to lend, what steps that they have to take. There are pieces of the puzzle that I think we could use blockchain for today. But the short, quick answer to that is we're so far away from regulatory changes that would be necessary to really make it be efficient that the bigger problem, it's not a technological barrier, it's an understanding barrier from regulators and lawmakers.
Sure. And the mortgages are so heavily regulated because
of 2008.
2008. There are two reasons, in my opinion, right? 2008, I guess, is the third. First, it's under collateralized lending. There needs to exist a system of trust establishment, which is antithetical to crypto, obviously. And then second is mortgages are, once they're issued, government will implicitly backstop them for most of the cases, right? Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
Yeah, so I mean, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac aren't technically government agencies, but they basically are. They're supported by
Implicit,
and then you have and then FHA loans are directly backed by the government and directly insured by the government. So I see certain things. The problem comes into play, because I've seen a lot of speculation in regards to, we can eliminate title insurance now because you can verify title on the chain, but you can't really do that because state law, I'm allowed to deed my property to somebody without even recording it. So if there's a potential for a title claim to be made, then you need that someone needs to insure the lender against it. Otherwise the lender won't want to lend on it. And there's nobody to reliably tell somebody on the chain, we can say 100% that the person you're lending the money to has 100% claim to this property.
The only way, I guess, is if deeds somehow all become digital, they all move to chain, then you can track, then
exactly. And so that's where I would say you need this huge revamp of everything. And so we have to get all of our lawmakers on boards. We have to update legacy systems, and we have to get a completely speculative, a completely crypto averse society to say, oh, I get it now. This just makes it, it reduces friction, lowers cost. This is just a good system for us. But
there's always like a big trade-off, right? Every time you buy a house, when you're talking to your broker, whether it's your mortgage broker or whether it's your real estate broker, they'll tell you closing costs typically are X% to Y%. The biggest, actually, there are two big components in my experience, and please correct me if I'm wrong, are one, mortgage tax, the tax that you pay when you do a mortgage, two, title search and title insurance.
Yeah.
And theoretically, if this technology could move, if this process could move to chain, your costs will go down. But because those costs are so high, there's an entire industry around it. Title insurance, title search. If it moves to the blockchain, that industry dies. Right? So you have forces that don't want this to become more transparent and streamlined. And then you have regulation. So it is, I agree, something that is interesting, but it's going to take a long time for this to happen.
Something I just want to bring up on that subject, if I was to sell my house to somebody and they bought title insurance from a company, that company is going to charge them money to insure the title. If they sell it the next day, the next person has to buy the exact same policy at the exact same price. And the company, they could buy it from the same company, and that company now is not increasing their risk at all.
Double dip, triple dip.
Yeah, exactly. So they're selling, the same assurity over and over and over again. And that's where I think maybe blockchain can create some solutions where there's a better pool available that can more fairly manage that risk, because really title companies aren't taking on additional risk anymore. They're just reissuing the same insurance over and over again.
Before we move on to Web3 topics, last question. Do you have any idea on how accurately those title insurance, because most people who are buying a home are so ecstatic that I don't think they look at how this is priced, what they're paying. Do you know how accurately those insurance sort of products are priced? Are they always overcharging, or are there frequent claims against those
there's not a lot of claims, right? There's not a lot, no. And even if there are claims, because it's a rare circumstance where someone has a claim that's going to supersede someone else's. A lot of times it comes into like a death in the family or a relative that you didn't know about who comes up and says, I didn't know Aunt Mary died, and that's I should get a part of that house. Those are the places where we see it the most, I think. But in general, no, title claims are pretty rare. So it's something that made a lot more sense before records were more easily accessible as well. But now that they are, to put it bluntly, it's a fairly large scam that everyone has just accepted.
I just didn't want to say it, but you said it before. There we go. Yeah. And the unfortunate reality is, if you take a mortgage, the lender will require you to buy it, right? Like it's a fully,
absolutely, fully
baked in You can't get out of it. It's probably not well priced type of thing, but it is
right. And you have to have a lender's title policy as well that lasts for the life of the loan.
Right.
Because your lender, if I'm lending someone $500,000, I want to make sure that I don't lose if it turns out they don't own the house. So I get why they want it. I think another component that has a lot of potential is your escrow company. That's where we really can talk about smart contracts, because the escrow company, their job is just to be the trusted intermediary that handles the money and disperses it. And we could do that with a smart contract. So
absolutely,
that's I think the first thing that we're going to see is that we see escrow companies start to get supplemented by smart contracts, because the escrow company is just there to be a trusted third party to disperse the money correctly. And that can be all done with smart contracts. I wouldn't recommend it today. I think we're far away from creating that real trust and ensuring that it doesn't get screwed up. But I think that's going to be the first place that we see some integration.
Funny enough, when I am starting to bring somebody, a normie, if you will, who knows nothing about Web3, nothing about cryptos, and I'm starting to sort of pull them down the rabbit hole, the first example I talk about is always escrow. And I talk to them like they're 5, right? So with that, let me ask you, where does the name come from? What is Crypto Kindergarten? How did you come up with it?
We see it behind you. Is Crypto Kindergarten the guy, or is Crypto Kindergarten the product?
Originally, I think I came up with the idea maybe 2 or 3 years ago, because I was looking at it and I was saying, a lot of people, even in the space, don't seem to have the basic concept of what this is.
Yeah.
And I see a role for myself in that, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not going to pretend to be that, but I do think that I can break down the information and try and feed it to people as if they're 5 years old, because that's the first step. And that I have a lot of experience doing that in, working again for various tech companies. When I worked in medical robotics, we would walk nurses over the phone how to do repairs, because it made way more sense than to fly someone out, and we're getting people who have no, technical experience and just, kind of trying to make it as simple as possible. And so the idea was I wanted to create some materials that would make it, focus on the basic part that people need to understand, because you don't need to understand how the technology works. You really only need to understand what the technology can do to sign on. And I see, as far as one of the biggest hurdles for mass adoption, and this is partly because of my own experience as well, where I kept looking at it and saying, oh, it's a scam. It's Ponzi's. It's just cryptocurrency. And I'm a tech heavy person. I love tech. And I figured, if that's me, all the people that are around me that I know want to hear nothing about crypto, I want to make materials for them to invite them to just kind of look under the hood a little bit and get the idea. So I had that idea back then. I decided, okay, well, I'll start branding under that name, Crypto Kindergarten. And then 2021, interest rates dropped to so far where, as I had talked, it was make hay. It was make hay day, and there was no way I could put any time into this project, because I was just, constantly grinding the opportunities that were out there. Sure. And so then it just kind of became my name, not the name of the company. And then at some point, someone started calling me CK, which makes perfect sense, because Crypto Kindergarten is way too long to be calling anyone anything. So then I just adopted the name CK, which is just short for Crypto Kindergarten. Nice. But that's the original concept was, I want to make, that first step be that kind of bridges the gap, because also a lot of the educational materials that are out there, it feels like they presume that the audience knows way too much, right? And I remember what it's like to know nothing. And if you go into those knowing nothing, it's all gibberish. And that's where I feel like my best contribution to the space can be to try and create that first step of learning, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's where the name came out. Yeah.
One person at a time, I used to say, and quite honestly, like you said, most people out there, like we have such a small sort of user base, you know, even in Ethereum, you have so little number of people that it's a joke, right? And we all need to do the work to convert one person at a time so they understand it. I'm not talking about the degen angle. I'm not talking about the gambling and the NFTs and stuff. I'm talking about the vision and the reason why this is becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and oh, go ahead, Jim.
Well, okay. I was just gonna say when I was first jumping in, I mean, I just appreciate what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because a guy like me who got in like, you know, 2021 and was just kind of like learning stuff, I can say, and I'm sure a lot of people had the same experience. You go and watch a video and you're like, all right, well, what's a blockchain? You know what I mean? You're learning your first lessons, right? And you have to go watch 3 other videos to understand what's going on in the first video that you watch, because you don't have that background, right? That CK's talking about, where you go in and you don't have a tech background, you don't have a finance background, you just want to find out about some crypto things, right? And so we need more of that, guys. Honestly, like what CK's doing right now is like very key for our community, and I think it's great, man. So I just wanted to add that in because that is a real thing. You do have to have a little bit of background when you go. I think sometimes people who are inside crypto have been in these industries for so long that it's redundant for them, right? Because they're like, okay, I don't need all this explained to me. I know what this is. I know what this is. But people who are just diving in, they don't know anything. And so that's crypto kindergarten is starting from zero, and that's why this is so important. So great stuff, man.
Oh, thank you.
So when have you launched yet? When are you?
Yeah, I've got 3 videos out there. I'm just going to release them as they come. So for me also, you know, part of why I'm doing this, I just love learning experiences. So I had zero experience in any kind of film editing, or content creation, and it's reflected in my videos. You're gonna see that I've already, like, after staring at myself for 10 hours, you know, trying to edit a video, thought, geez, I gotta figure out lighting, and geez, I gotta figure out sound. Like,
it's
right
all good,
away.
Man. It'll come. You're gonna get there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so it's like, okay, I'm learning a lot, which is part of it. I just really like that process. So you know, I'm enjoying all of that. I have a couple of videos. I would say on Jimmy's, what Jimmy was just talking about, the video I'd recommend everyone check out to get an idea of kind of what I'm going for is what is blockchain. So if you go, I got a YouTube channel.
Let me share that.
My website is super. I want to put it out there that it is intentionally bad, the website, because I want the website to kind of reflect where I feel like crypto technology is. Because my target audience, or where I feel like I do the best, is with an older crowd.
Sure.
And I think that if you go to the website, it feels like a web page from like 1998 or 1999. And I think that is a good analogy for where I see crypto at today, because I think that we have so much of the bones are there, but the user interfaces are lacking. And I think it might be a good way to explain to people that this is really is a revolutionary technology, and it's going to change the way we interact with the world. And you may not even understand that you're using it necessarily when that happens, but I want people to know it exists, to know its capabilities, because one of the most important things that we need, as we discussed earlier, is kind of that regulatory piece where people aren't scared of it, right? And they can say, you know, it's more than just monkey JPEGs. It's more than just cryptocurrency. It's about digital framework and digital ownership. And those are the key points that I'm trying to make. You know, part of it is, again, just for me to just kind of have fun and learn more, because as I do every single video, I'm learning a lot more at the same time. So it's been a great learning experience for me as well. But to go back, this is not my full-time job. I do not expect to turn this project into, you know, something that really makes any money. It would be great if it did, but realistically, this is more of just kind of a passion project and a fun way to learn various things.
My friend, this is how it starts.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I
what
was just gonna
every
say, man.
guy
That's how it
says.
starts.
Hey, this is a hobby. You know, it's not going to matter. I'm just going to do it for the good. And that's the best intention. Like, I think if you set out to do it to immediately squeeze money out of it, the chances of success are slim. So all the power to you.
No, thank you.
We'll be subscribing and watching, needless to say.
And you're doing great, man. You're doing great. I mean, we've watched your journey, like the last, however long since you joined our community. And like, it's awesome, man. And I look at our co-founder is even joining the conversation. Watch CK's. You are being modest, he says. That is one of our co-founders, man. That's one of the builders of the Dexalot subnet right now.
I'm glad to hear that, because I do feel like I'm going to be making a lot of improvements as well. Because as I've been doing this, I'm learning. Oh man, text-based editing, by the way, saved my life, because I did one video without it. I didn't know you could edit based on just take your video. Yeah, Jimmy knows.
Yeah, hey man, we just hit me up. We got your back, bro. We got your back. We like what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you got questions, I'm here. And something you guys don't know about me is I used to work in the mortgage industry too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember 2008, and wow, man, it's crazy. Like when you said, like, I think we're still kind of a long way off. I hear you, because I know you remember when all the regulations went into place in 2008. Yep. Everything changed. Everybody was very mad about it, and now we're kind of,
I was fortunate there. I got in about 2007 or 2008, and people were just making money hand over fist without, and it was ridiculous, what could slide. So because of my entry point was right when it fell apart, I was able to have a much lower expectation of, what is required of me to make this job work well. So in some ways, I was the only reason why I survived is because I didn't get in 2 years earlier and get set up.
I got lucky in the sense that I became a full-time DJ shortly after I was able to transition into a full-time DJ. But before that, I worked in an appraisal office, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But cool, man. Great stuff, man. This is so cool. And I understand that you have like some sort of announcement that you wanted to make on the show today. Is that correct?
I thought you guys had an announcement.
Oh yeah, I saw you tweet about a big announcement. We made our big announcement with our announcement.
Hey, before we do that, let me just tell the audience why I'm such a Dexalot fan.
Oh please, please. I didn't. Forgive me, bro. Forgive me. I thought you had sorry, chat. We got another announcement after we're done talking to CK.
Yeah, this is what Jimmy does. He's like, "Oh, you have some graphs to show, buddy." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?"
I'll just be like,
"Oh, you got an announcement, bro? Drop it right now." And like he puts you on the spot.
Yeah,
marketing guy. What can I say?
So I came to Dexalot through Colony. Colony did an investment in Dexalot. I like Colony a lot because I enjoy their the idea of being able to fractionalize participation and provide, theoretically give somebody with $50 the same kind of investment opportunities that someone with $1 million has. And they're getting close to being there. And I really just like that idea for blockchain. It's one of the reasons that pulled me in. But anyway, with Dexalot, it just makes sense. Right? You guys have created a platform that has low friction, fast transactions. And in my mind, money always finds a way to go towards the paths of least resistance. And you guys have created a platform with the least resistance. And so I'm a person who goes for products that I think are going to bring, crypto forward and really help trigger adoption. So one of the biggest things that I see for crypto, or one of the things I'm most optimistic about, is industry adoption. In bringing over the CLOB is the design that industry is used to, right? They are not used to AMMs. I don't see AMMs being something that are used for a lot of types of trading. I think they will have their place. But if we're talking about industry adoption, it's going to be on a CLOB, and you guys have built one on a subnet, which is what everybody's going to want to do when they figure out this. So I figure you guys are going through all of those, preliminary steps and hurdles to find out what works, what doesn't work. And yeah, I like supporting that because I see that is going to be a big piece of the future. And you guys are learning, how to make this function so that the next guy doesn't have to probably, or ideally I'd like to see everything traded on Dexalot. But I've talked about it before. I see Dexalot potentially even just being kind of a white label product that if Fidelity comes in and they say, hey, we want to, start doing trades on the blockchain. Well, these guys have already built the structure. Of course, we're going to go talk to them. And so I see Dexalot's product as being something that is going to really help foster future adoption. But also, if you look at the cost of a transaction on Dexalot, it's self-evident, right? You've created a place where you can and this is something that one of my videos I've already I did this in September 15th. I made the recording comparing it and doing all that, and I thought I'd already have a video release for it, but I've also got Firestorm locked down for an interview that he agreed to 2 months ago.
Funny enough, CK told me in about a week and a half, we're gonna have this conversation. I'm like, all right, set it up, bro, let's go. And it was 2 months ago or 3 months ago.
And that was before that was when I thought, okay, I just have to learn video editing first. So
I know exactly how that goes.
Yeah,
because I went through something like this a while ago, and I realized I cannot edit, and I had a friend edit for me.
So I figured that out. I've got the script. I've got most of the video done. Once the video's done, then I bring in Firestorm, and we're going to talk about foreign exchange markets and how we can change that. But in making that video, it was very clear to me that Dexalot is a potential platform for foreign exchange, right? You're crushing the competition in regards to what it costs to turn $1 into a euro.
First of all, I'm going to petition Jonathan to sort of replace myself with you, because you actually sell this a lot better than me. But here is, jokes aside, here is what I'm going to, I'm going to show you right now. So you mentioned a few things in there. One, efficiency that is required for the institutional side. Two, cost. I'm going to talk about what the efficiency brings to the end user. And I actually have been doing a lot of stuff which, let's see, producer, can I share my screen? I think I can, right?
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen. You should just hit present.
Yeah, let's try this real quick.
A Firestorm screen share, guys. This
is it showing right now?
Yep.
Okay. This is different than what we looked at before. So it is simpler than what we looked at before. Before we looked at prices. Now I looked at price comparison, meaning which of the prices are better across many platforms at any given time throughout daily periods. So basically, what percentage of the time is simple swap the better price than the alternative throughout a given day? Every point is a day. And right now, to your point, because of the efficiency, because of the smaller amount of capital required on Dexalot to be able to price, on AVAX USDC at $2,500, roughly 85 to 90% of the time, simple swap wins versus the alternatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is AVAX, where most amount of liquidity for AVAX actually lives on the Avalanche chain. Obviously, we're on Avalanche. If you switch to something like Bitcoin, where there just isn't that much liquidity sort of on chain, it's essentially 100%. Less much capital required to provide a price, and the price is better 100% of the time. Now, this is just a price. Going to your video, doing the transaction on simple swap also costs less because the computational complexity under the covers is a lot less. Therefore, you expend less AVAX per trade, regardless of the size of the trade, right? So, we are, again, I always say this, we're just in the beginning. I can also show like Paraswap maybe. If you go to like Paraswap, again, without real pricing, optimization, liquidity curation, SimpleSwap is already winning essentially 40 to 45% of the market in terms of being the best price. Obviously, Paraswap has a lot of sort of sources, and we are still rolling this feature out. There is continuous improvements as we identify things. I actually expect the price to look like this a lot, where, you know, SimpleSwap will soon win more than 50, 60, whatever percent of the market with respect to being the best price. So, you know, I'm going to keep putting more data behind sort of what people say, but I just want to share this just because you mentioned it. It is definitely working. I just canceled the share.
No, I do. Look at how quick our producer is, though. He had that. He had that filter. He had that overlay ready, like top notch. Air horn for the producer.
Yes, that's right. Anyways, we appreciate your analysis. Your cost analysis sort of gave me the idea of going out, capturing all the sort of data points and showing here are the differences.
Yeah,
right?
and I made another video that will be in my video where basically I just do the swaps. I do them on 3 different exchanges and then compare them, right? And to me, that's the easiest way. Is just show somebody, hey, look.
Absolutely.
And I think that by showing the lowest, I mean, the slippage is absurd, right? on Dexalot to be at 1,000th of a cent is just an absurd.
I mean, we like spreads of $0.50
spread, yeah.
Bid to offer distance is not unheard of on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin,
yeah.
Like $36,000 asset, $0.50 spread. You're basically buying and selling almost at the same price.
Right. And then, of course, you compare that to what is traditionally available to the average person. And this is why I did this video, was to say, if you're going to Europe and you want to get euros and make sure that you've got your money set aside for that, you don't have to worry about fluctuations or whatever else. How do you do it? You go to the bank. Here's what they give you. You go to this. Or you do it on your phone and you do it instantly. That is, I think, the part of the puzzle that people need to understand is the low friction is not just about the value, it's the time, And
try to get euros at a bank in the US.
Yeah,
and then
I did.
They'll give you a price.
Yeah, I did.
Then go type euros in Google and compare the two prices.
I did.
And full disclosure, I was one of the guys giving that price to the end user at the bank, and that price is,
It's actually in the video that I did, I ended up excluding Bank of America from the whole thing because I started with that, and when I found a currency exchange, like just a local currency exchange that did better than them, that surprised me. I assume the bank and the bank gives you 2 or 3 day turnaround, where you have to go into the bank and pick it up, or they'll send it to your house. It's such an inefficient system. Right. And those are the things that I want to focus on my videos. It's just showing people the actual, real world utility that they could expect in a future that has accepted these changes. Because the exchange is there, it's already awesome, but I can't really take my Euro coins to just any vendor in Europe yet. That's the part of the puzzle that I think is going to really bring adoption, is when I can take those and spend those anywhere and everyone just kind of accepts it.
That's right. Music to my ears, man. You get it.
Definitely, man. And
I
that
appreciate
kind of like
your perspective.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this has been great. I feel like we've been talking for like 10 minutes and like we're almost out of time. It's one of those where it's just, just guys being dudes talking about Dexalot, you know what I mean? And another thing that I kind of wanted to loop into this while you're here, CK,
sure.
and talking about FX and your C and everything that's been going on, I think it'd be a good time to mention our latest integration, Firestorm. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I read it already. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So we've got our new fiat on-off ramp, Kato, Dexalot Kato, handshake emoji. So yeah, it's happening, guys. You can read about it on our Medium, but you'll be able to buy stable coins. There's a credit card. You can Firestorm. Do you want to? I'm dropping this one. Do you want to explain this one a little bit?
No. I mean, like an on ramp is a mechanism through which you use traditional financial means to access the digital ecosystem. Right. You'll be able to do that with Dexalot starting pretty soon. I don't know if it's already available to everybody, but it's been built. It's been integrated. Go ahead and give it a shot and let us know.
And I'll get the Medium article for us too here.
Yeah, it's awesome news. On-ramps, off-ramps are one of the biggest key puzzles pieces as well. You know, being able to bring money on and off and spend it wherever. That's a huge announcement, I think, for Dexalot. When I heard about the announcement that was coming, I thought it's either going to be that or a multi-chain announcement, which I'm also excited about. But that's just more about bringing people from other chains to experience the Dexalot, you know, low friction, low cost transactions and bring them over to Avalanche. But this is something that is more about, hey, let's get, you know, everybody in the world to start coming in, bringing their money on and saving their money by removing intermediaries.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
I mean, I remember it was very difficult for US folks to access AVAX because none of the centralized exchanges would either allow US people or it wouldn't sort of have AVAX listed. So here you go.
When I first bought AVAX, I was buying Ethereum on Coinbase, sending it to a Gate.io account that I'd established somehow because they stopped letting US people do it. But I had it there, and then I'd have to swap that to Avalanche, and they only used the X chain at that time too. So it's certainly been nice watching that change, but even more solutions that don't require a centralized exchange are really going to be key.
Definitely.
Absolutely great.
Dude, this has been awesome. Let's give a big thanks and W's in the chat for our guy CK and his awesome. Can you stand up again and show us your hot sauce costume, man? He is a Taco Bell hot sauce.
Too good to not be true, guys.
huge dubs in the chat for our guy, man. And so, CK, this was awesome, but I got to get a song request from you before you go.
So all day I was thinking
E40 like a long time ago. I remember this. That was awesome.
And the whole time I kept thinking it's going to be an E40 song because it's it's great. But now I've changed my mind. I've got this earworm in my ear every day I've been driving to work. So I don't know what it is.
Shark?
Yeah, it's Baby Shark. But the Spanish version. So
I'm sure banger.
No, I've got it's like it's one of those songs that just gets stuck in your head, and I play it every day on my way to work now, and I didn't go to work today, so I'm going to ask you to play it, and I'm hoping that at least one other person catches it, because that's how you get rid of these things, right? So you make someone else listen to it, and then it's over.
Like it
follows. It's a song called "Coffee" by Aesop Rock, not ASAP Rocky, but Aesop Rock.
I know Aesop. I was almost Aesop's DJ for a time.
No kidding.
Yeah, they were. Oh, okay. So a long time ago, there was because I used to work with the Rhyme Sayers Entertainment guys, and they were having problems with their DJ. And one of the guys from the label called me up and said, "Hey, can you go on tour with Aesop Rock and Rob Sonic?" And I said, "Sure. When's the tour?" And they said, "Oh," and then they called me and said, "Oh, they got their friend from Portland. Never mind." But hey, almost was a deal. Close. But anyway,
I will say, if you do play some E40 later, I won't complain.
That's fair. And what was the Aesop song again?
Coffee.
Right. Let me make sure I got it. I'm sure I got it in here somewhere. If I don't, production, send me that one just in case I don't have it, please.
All right.
And dude, this has been awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure, such an honor. I'm really, really happy to be on here. Really happy to support Dexalot because, again, I see you guys as being one of the key components, into real world adoption. And you're creating. I say it all the time. It's the trading platform of the future. That's how I see it, and I don't want to oversell it. But that's how I see it.
Oh, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I got gold axolotls in the chat for you, bro. That's
nice.
No, we really do, man. We really do. And we'll be watching your content, man. We'll be paying close attention, man, because your rise has been great. So chat thanks you. We thank you, CK. This has been awesome, and we will hopefully see you very soon, my friend.
Absolutely, man. Been a
All right,
pleasure.
take care. I got some Aesop coming up for you.